Evening, Dave Iron. Nice to see you. You can't see me while I'm doing that thing. The fucking what Bob Monkhouse used to do. You can't see me because I ain't started yet. We'll start in a minute. I promise. I'll start in a minute. Good evening. Rejoice the memory of the greedy six. Yes, we shall be touching on that. Heathworth says wank. Evening, Jason says somebody else. Good evening from Devon. Somebody stop me, UK. Let's hope they do. See if this fucker works. That just don't fucking work, does it? This is shit. This. I've yet to have a fuck week because I've not been very well. But I'm having a fucking I'm having a good. I'm going to have a good look around it. Sorry, in my fucking hands. Can you see my hands? I've done fucking days work in the life, and they fucking kill. When I wear a DJ anyway. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to Raconteurs News. Does it work? Is it working then, Eve? Is it working? Because I can't hear anything. I don't hear anything at all coming out at all. So press it and counts 30 seconds. Do you know? I don't even think I can count that far. Where's PC Wedges? Says somebody stop me, UK. I just like that picture. I think he's quite attractive in that picture, don't you? He looks quite attractive. I think I just like leave him. I'm just leaving him there. By the way, while I'm doing this, I am watching my team being relegated. Hopefully not, but they could be relegated tonight. Thankfully, they're winning. It is working. Oh, thank you. They get rid of pick. Okay, I'll probably do that. We're winning 1-0 at half time against Blackburn Rovers. I've got the thing on here next to me, so I will be keeping a little eye on that. Also, I want to get a few people on as well. If you've not been on before, or if you're Eve, I'd like you to come on. I've sent a few links out to people that want to come on, that might want to come on. Yeah, that's a good point, and we'll get to that as well, Keith. It's at some point tonight. Well, quite early. We're going to get to that. It's we've got this thing where this distraction. Let's face it, it's a distraction. It was never going to happen. And Paris, it was never going to happen. And during this COVID period, obviously, the all football teams have had, lost revenue. What these were trying to do were create more revenue and just like make it a closed shop. So it's a shame that all the footy fans didn't join the COVID hoax protest. It is. It is a shame. I've got some notes here now. It's the first time I've been able to write in ages. Yeah, Super League. We touched on that. I mean, it's fucking disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. But that's the world we're living in. We're living in a world where, you know, I watched a video earlier on that said that you know, iPhones. This is the real reason why iPhones and smartphones and what have you, they don't come with a charger anymore. And it's because then Samsung or Apple or whoever can say, well, we're using less cardboard and we're using less plastic, and it's sustainability, and they've reduced the carbon footprint. But the problem is that then there's people have to order and buy a charger if they've not got one, and there you go. More cardboard, more cardboard, more crap. All going. It's not good for the environment, not at all. Report suggests Ed Woodward has resigned. Ed Woodward is the chief executive, I think, at Manchester United. Hopefully he has. Paul Cotty, greetings all. Paul, I sent you a link. Jump in, talk to us. Tell us what's been going on. I've got loads of things that I wanted to talk about here. We want to talk about Phil the Greek's funeral. I didn't see any of it. Did you? Did Prince Harry? Were he watching it on telly or were he there? I don't know. Were anybody there? I saw a picture of Queen sat on her own. I think that were quite symbolic. And I've got a prediction as well for everybody. So I've got a prediction for people, which is something that I don't think anyone's predicted so far. But I think, in my mind, I think this might happen. It's I think what they're going to do is, and this will further division, and it will also put more kudos onto the pharmaceutical companies. So the pharmaceutical companies are going to be like, the people are going to be saying, oh yeah, the pharmaceutical companies are doing this. Now this is my theory, right? I think what they're going to do is they're going to come out and they're going to say, we've cured, and it'll be a particular type of cancer. Now it won't be breast cancer, that's far too lucrative, and I don't think it'll that women get. I think it'll be a cancer that men get, simply because then there will be like prostate cancer or bollocks cancer, or you know, some of that's specific to men. I think they'll come out and say, we've got a cure for this specific cancer. Now that cure is going to be fucking hugely expensive. NHS is, you know, he's going to pay for it in certain cases, but you know, we're all paying for it through our taxes and stuff. So that's my prediction. I predict they're going to come out and say that they've cured a cancer, one particular cancer, right? And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a cancer that blokes get, you know, exclusively, and women don't get. And then there'll be the division. Well, you know, it's all men in these researchers, so they're researching more on men, on men's cancer, and you know, that'll be another further divide. But what they'll have done is they'll have put a lot more credibility into the pharmaceutical industry. I don't know. It's just where I think I was just what I was thinking about other day, and I managed to remember it. So. Okay. Raction just donated $100. Okay, excellent. Testicular, yeah, I'd probably say testicular, because there's the big one with the prostate cancer that has got quite a big, it's got quite a big following. You know, it's got a big profile. So I think that you know, it's. I think it's probably going to be testicular. But look, this is just me predicting. Anybody else got any predictions? Let's see. Let me just pop the thing in there. If you want to come on and talk about what's going on in your head, just remember that I'm not. I don't watch news. I watch it briefly, but it's at the moment it's all football and everything. So Jason's talking bollocks. Oh, thank you, Mascara Snake. Okay, well, we'll see. I might be talking bollocks. I hope. No, I don't. I hope I'm right, because if they've cancer, you know, cured one cancer, then you know. Oh dear me. Oh, Dinny. Good evening to you, Dinny, mate. Anybody wants to come on and just tell us what you're doing? What is grinding your gears at the moment? I noticed the real IRA are on the scene. I saw that. I saw that the coverage of it. Oh, for fuck's sake! Why have I got a fucking wank thing now? Are you microwaving something? Can't hear me. Oh, anyway, it's all right. That's all right. I'm getting. Do you know? I'm almost sat fucking right above it. I should have got one of them leads, like. But I have been feeling that. But to be honest, today's first day that I felt all right. So yeah, the real IRA again. Getting back to the real IRA, have suddenly turned up again on the scene, and they've blown up I think it were a copper's car, or a Guardi, or it'll have been in Northern Ireland, won't it? So it'll have been PSNI, Police Service Northern Ireland. It would be, anyway. It would have been one of their constables, but obviously it's been this has been foiled. Nobody's been hurt, I don't think, anyway. And it were in Derry. Sorry, right? Thank you. It was Derry. No, that's interesting. And there was the news were hyping it up and saying that the bomb was placed under where the car seat was. You know, as if implying that they were after the kid, any child that might be there. You know, this is what they do. They demonize. And I look, I don't know if this were real IRA. I don't know whether it were IRA. I don't know if it were fucking RUC. I don't know if it were fucking any cunt. I don't know, Al Qaeda. Didn't know whether it was fucking Osama bin Laden. Yeah, someone's put happy birthday, Adolf. It's Adolf's birthday, is it? The 20th of April, yeah. Happy birthday to you, Adolf, wherever you are in Argentina. You know, I know we were fucking. I know we were a bit of a cunt, but you know, it's his birthday. Gonna let him off with that, aren't we? Fuck the Pope. I'd prefer not to. Derry Girls, Ace Show, says Heath. Yeah, excellent. So we're on it tonight. What else did I put? Yeah, Super League. Phil the Greek. Anybody watch that funeral? Anybody gonna fucking come on and talk to me or what? I'm sat here like a fucking turnip. and I was determined to do a show tonight, and I ended up sat here like a turnip talking to me son. Fucking hell. Into their birthday soon, yeah, 28th. My birthday, I'll be 51 years old. 51 years old. Imagine they had actually, we'd probably still have shipyards and coal mines. Yeah, there's I think that's actually, oh, they'd actually got Thatcher. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fucking granddad. 23 April 1889 in Argentina. Oh, really? That's interesting. Interesting. I mean, we understandably we do get there's a lot of hype and a lot in fucking on TV about Holocaust and all that. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a fucking nightmare, isn't it? You dodge around everything. You dodge around everybody. I'm fucked off at the moment with fucking just about every fucking body that comes anywhere near my house. My dog fucking barks like fucking in the morning when fucking bin man comes around after I fucking stopped up till 3 o'clock watching some shit on fucking YouTube. And then about 7:30, fucking dogs having a row with fucking bin men. Yeah, it's a fucking hard life being me, you know. It's a very hard life, a very, very hard life. Come on, Paul, get your son on. Robert Lunn says, "How is Aid?" Do you know, I've not heard from him for ages. I've tried to ring him a few times. And not being able to get through. But hopefully he's getting better. Last time I spoke to him, you know, his sentences were a lot better than what they were the first time I spoke to him. I'm assuming he's getting better. I've not heard anything. I'm more a bit concerned about Super Leeds. I did speak to him last week. And I'm quite worried about him. I also spoke to Webby as well, and I'm a little bit worried about Webby as well. Webby's feeling under weather, so I hope you get better, Webby, and Super Leeds, because this world's a better place with you in it, and it's a better place with this chap in it as well. Hang on, it'll be here in a minute. There we go.
How's the sound?
Old mate?
All good. How's me sound?
I can't hear the word you say.
Give me 1 minute.
Apparently there wasn't even 12 million dudes in Europe, and he allegedly gassed 12 million. I heard there were probably about 100,000. That's probably a low estimate, but in the whole of Europe, we can hear you both.
Any sound there, Jason?
You can. It's that thing again, isn't it? It's that glitch. I'm going to go out and I'm going to come back in. You keep talking, Paul, and I'll probably won't hear you when I come back in. Oh, I got you.
Oh, it's a sound there, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, happy days.
How's
things? All good, thanks. How you keeping?
Sorry?
Just get that. I think my sound might be a bit too loud here.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I've had this fucking shit with my hands and it's not gone away, but it's got better, so it's got easier to manage. So I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm still here. I'm still here. No, it's all good. All good, thanks. No, I heard you there last week, all right, complaining. Tried to be listening in. and I heard you complaining and all that. But come here, look, you're still here.
Oh, I'm still here, mate. They'll never fucking get rid of me. I don't know how many fucking death rays they've fucking gone on me. Do you know what I mean? They keep trying and fucking trying, but I won't go anywhere. I even went out on my spaz chariot over there with dog. That all fucked him off.
Too right. The longer you stay around, the better. Should be a pain in the ass then for them.
Yeah. And why not?
That's the way I see it. The longer we stay around, the better. Should we be a pain in the ass for them, if nothing else?
Well, didn't Prince Philip once famously say that he'd wanted to come back as a pain in the arse?
I'm sure he did all right.
If there's reincarnation, I want to come back as a pain in the arse. Fucking well done. That'll be fucking 2 pain in the arse lives. Fucking hell, I'm fucking nice.
I see Denny has a nice gaff, Paul. What can you see? Up in my backyard. Detour, look, there's there you go, Denny. I think you might see me backyard. The big greenhouse up the top. The big greenhouse up the top there somewhere, so there is. And then the sheds up there have a gym. That's why I couldn't come on air. Lad was here chatting, and he's up in the sheds doing the gym at the moment, and a couple of other friends of mine are up there doing the gym.
Oh, right, no problem. I just thought I'd send you to. I needed to do a show, and I weren't really.
Yeah.
I weren't really wanting to like fucking book somebody who was going to be, pissed off if I fucking, I don't wanted it to be, light and just invite people like yourself. Yeah. I invited Paul, but I understand he's not doing right well, or he hasn't been doing right well previously. Yeah. So, and he's probably at work as well.
I don't know. Sorry?
Go on, mate. Go on, you carry on.
No, I was just going to say, I've been listening into his last couple of weeks, and I should have listened the whole time anyway. I was tuned into Webby there, all right. You know what? Webby's one of the only ones actually giving out half sensible news these days as well. Fair play to Webby and all, like I said it to him already. As in within the court systems and certain things and understanding and all that kind of stuff. There's not too many these days.
No, there's not.
What's happening in Ireland with the restrictions? The same thing as everywhere else. I think we're actually allowed out. Well, I wouldn't say we are. The people, everybody else is allowed outside the 10 kilometres now. Pubs are all still closed. Just have feedback off mine. Sorry. The pubs are still closed and stuff like that. None of the shops, sports shops or clothing shops or anything like that's open. Yeah. They're dishing out fines. I live a half a mile from the coast here, and there's a little town, a little seaside town there. And the weekend, the guard will be down there stopping people and asking them where they're going and that. I think I read in the local paper they gave out 40 fines there a couple of weeks ago. 40 fines at €100 is $4,000. Made that's not bad, is it? For making up bullshit and getting $4,000 in return.
Yeah, mate.
So, it's the
right bullshit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure, I've said it from the very, very start. Absolutely bullshit. It's a body detox, and I've said it, and I've screamed about it, and there's more and more people actually starting to realise it now. Thank feck.
Oh,
I know you.
Fucking hell.
Then you've got these alliances, doctors, Dr. Dolores Cattle, and all these making up an alliance, and they're all saying, "Oh, there's no need for lockdown. It's no more than a cold or flu." Yeah, what's the cold or flu though? Sure, that's only a body detoxing.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, I don't get colds. I don't get flu. I never do. I don't know why. I just get like really bad shit, like fucking heart attacks and shit like that. But
I got a phone call. I over here. I do seed bombs, organic seed bombs, and a woman rang me the other day looking for organic seed bombs, and she goes, "Oh, I got your number off I have a big banner yoke outside the house and all that. She goes, I got your number I said, all right, no bother. She goes, how do you do deliveries? I said, if you're local, I've no bother delivering them. She goes, I'm only down the road. I got them off you last year. So I went, I knew who it was then, an old woman down the road. I went down and gave her the seeds and that, chatting about the different types of flowers and how they're healthy for you and so forth. But she turned around to me down and she goes, are you going to get the vaccine? Now, this woman would be a church goer and the whole lot. And she goes, are you going to get the vaccine? I says, tell the truth. I said, I'll not be getting anything like that in my body. She goes, I didn't want to get it, but I end up getting the second one. The dog wouldn't be letting us see the grandkids if she didn't. And that's an old woman, probably in her late 70s. And she's underlying conditions and all. I remember chatting to her last year and all that. But it was great that she didn't want to get it. Unfortunate for the reasons why she got her and all that kind of stuff. And she was saying her son's not going to get her and that as well. I actually live in a country road, so it was good to hear that, you know what I mean? There are elderly people along the cottages where I am. I thought I was the odd one out along here, the odd ball that, you know, the one where the guards are rushing in every so often and marching up the street and busting into us.
It's fucking madness, isn't it? It's absolute madness. I noticed Webby's in the chat room. Webby, if you look in your messages, I've sent you a link, mate. Get yourself on. Tell us what you think of the latest thing. I mean, the latest thing, really. The thing that's fucking distracting everybody is this football thing. What do you make of that?
Don't mind all of it. My young lad was here a few minutes ago, and he'd be into the football, and he started talking about the Man United joke. He's on about some super fucking league of bullshit, and now he was saying about Manchester United and the managers getting sacked and all that. He knows I don't have any interest in any of that whatsoever. Right, but even from his perspective of being a football fan and playing football and all that himself, he thought it was a load of shit, all this new Super League, all for the rich and all this kind of stuff, you know. I said, it's just the likes of you that's causing all that. Turn yours back on them altogether. Just have feedback from my mics.
I'm not getting any feedback, mate. None at all.
I'll probably feedback in my head at this stage.
Caligula Commodus has put Williamson is missing. Please share. Oh, Williamson. I don't know who Williamson is, but he's missing anyway. So if you see him, you probably won't recognise him. If he was sat here in here with me, I'd probably ask him who the fuck he works. I've never heard of him. So, yeah, Keith M has said the ESL is part of the Great Reset. That could be true, but I don't think. It's falling apart, isn't it, though? Two have already pulled out. 2 English clubs have already pulled out, according to press reports. 17th of May, pub restaurants open inside in England at the Mo outside only. Yeah, that's right. You'll only get, you'll only be able to, you won't be able to drink inside, though. You'll be able to go in and eat something, but you won't be able to go in and drink inside. You're going to have to, unless you're drinking lemonade.
It's all these, what do you call them, wet bars, is it? All outdoors drinking. A bloody wet bar, like, I mean, do you ever hear the fucking likes? What's a dry bar if that's a wet bar?
We've got somebody added to us. We've got the Donegal Werewolf. Good evening, Donegal Werewolf.
Oh, Dinny.
Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Jason. How are you?
How's things, Dinny?
All right, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, man. All right. That's what I'm calling.
How's things in Germany?
Things are grand. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of it.
Dinny, it does not bother me whatsoever. Months ago, this last year, I was running in out of court cases and doing things in court. I never had a mask on me. Nobody ever said it. A guard said it to me one day in the court, in the corridors. He goes, "Have you got a mask?" I went to him exempt. He says, "Can you prove it?" I says, "Can you prove I'm not?" And he got a letter, and I went, "Can you prove I'm not?" And he fucked off. I went in front of the judge. The judge is no, not even one. Nobody says that. So what's the big deal? Where's people
You see
going? What are laws?
But you see all these fines they're handing out, Paul, threat in Donegal as well. Like, are they paying them? Are they
I'm not,
on the spot, or can they take it to court? Or
I heard that nobody's actually getting the fines are getting sent out, but then they don't have to pay them. They're not getting paid, or it's getting dropped before court. If I was in town there, I live outside the town. I was in Drogheda town there last week or the week before, and I was chatting to a lad I know, and he was saying that his son got €100 fine for being over his mate's house.
yeah.
Now I told him he knows my opinion on what to do with them fines.
But Jason, what's it like there? Like, if you're caught there in mass, you get £100 fine, do you?
Do you know? I don't know, because I don't go out, do I? I'm always in this house, and when I do go out, nobody ever says anything to me or challenges me, because I'm on a spaz wagon. You know, I've got one leg, and nobody likes to do that. You know, I know it's something that it's not something that I hide behind. It's just something that it's not really bothering me. It's not doing anything. I know.
Someone has here in the post, and I was right. I just thought, it's not fines; it's fixed. For fuck's sake, a fixed penalty notice.
So, Paul, if the guards pull you over, right?
Yeah.
And they give you a fixed penalty, is it? You don't have to pay it on the spot.
No, you don't have to pay it on the spot. So you don't. They're calling them fines, fixed penalties. They're calling them fines and everything else. But it's not paid on the spot. It's supposed to still go in front of the courts and all that. And I haven't heard too many of them going in front of the courts. I've heard of a few cases, all right, where on the internet there, people saying, "Oh, so and so got jailed, not wearing a mask and everything else." But when you read into it, it's usually because he hasn't given his name and address, or he's done with a public order act. And even not giving your name and address is only a public order act as well. So people need to learn the difference between public order acts and everything else. Here's Webby. I actually wanted to bring up a couple of discussions with Webby.
Go on then. Webby, how are you doing?
When he takes his mute off.
Come on, Webby, talk to us, mate.
He's on mute there. Let me show you Webby.
He just wants
So someone has here, look, they go to court and they're getting thrown out. And that's what as far as I believe as well. They're all getting thrown out when they go to court. And that's Webby, how's things with you?
All good, mate. Can you hear me okay, guys?
Yeah.
spot on.
Hello, Webby.
Hi, guys. I hope you can hear me. I'm not on the right PC, Jace. I've only just got in from work, so it's best I can do this, lad.
That's all right, mate. No problem at all. Paul said he wanted to have a word with you, so Paul, take it away.
Oh, thanks. Webby, yeah, I know you brought it up in a couple of discussions when I'd be listening and all that. That case that went on over in England for discrimination.
The equalities one from Asda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't solicitors involved. That was yourself and a few others, I believe, was it?
No, it's a guy who we work with. He runs, if you go online, it's called Kester Disability Services.
Right.
Now, Kester's a guy who works Coventry Way, somewhere like that, and a guy was denied entry into Asda because of not wearing a face mask, which he was exempt. He was then questioned about it, and because he didn't divulge the proof and that, he was denied entry, and they took £7,000 off Asda with no court, no contest.
Well, that's the point that I'd be going on to people. No court, no contest, because they can't go in there because it's not a law. And this is where we have to come up with a solution to reverse things back on these people, put the onus back on them when they try to get you to put a mask on. Well, here, look, you sign that and whole liability, will you? Which they won't do.
No, they don't need it.
Do it?
They don't need it. It's already there. The factor is, Section 6 of the Equalities Act states, if a facial covering inhibits you mentally or physically in any way, amongst your daily duties or whatever, you're exempt. Anything else beyond that?
Right, but the way I see it as well, all right, that's going into health issues, right? Now, what about those that haven't got health issues and just don't want to wear a mask? They're still exempt, because the word exempt means under no obligations. So therefore, if I say I'm exempt and someone's looking for a letter for me to prove exempt, I want a letter from them to show me who I've got the obligation to.
There's no need. There's no need for it, because they can't ask you for that. So the factor is, Paul, if you put a face covering on, if it makes your breathing difficult, forget medical issues.
Absolutely.
If you suffer from covering your face up, you're exempt.
But the way I see it, I shouldn't even have to. I shouldn't have to use the excuse that it affects me breathing. It affects stupidity or something within me. It turned me into stupidity. The fact is, nobody has to wear them. There is no law saying you have to wear them. I stood in front of a judge. But what I wanted to question was the process of bringing them into discrimination, because it is discrimination whether you want to wear one or not. You know, if somebody doesn't want to wear one, you don't have to give a reason why. Simple as that, because there's no law.
But that's what I'm saying, Paul. Section 6 states you are exempt if it inhibits you mentally or physically in any way. It doesn't say anything about if you got a doctor's letter or anything. If it inhibits your daily activities, that's it.
Yeah. So
it's really simple. It's really simple.
And I assume that the case was brought legal. He's not a solicitor or something, was he?
He's not a solicitor.
Right. So it was done. He done the case himself. The same way as I'd be saying to people, you can do your own case. Over here, I think it costs about 100 or 200 euro to bring someone to court.
Yeah, it takes everything, no fee, no win, no fee. He takes it on. It's the Equalities Act that he's worked with, and as soon as ASDA was notified under the sections, they just paid out. No court, no contest.
Yeah.
This is where you're at, Paul. I mean, you guys over in Ireland, you got ahead of the curve, you guys, because you were being attacked fundamentally under 2008 when the mortgage market collapsed. Northern Ireland was the test bed, if you like, for that. Now, for me, Paul, because I was on a tracker mortgage, when the mortgage market collapsed, I saved £200 a month. It meant nothing to me until I realised what they were doing and what the concept behind it is. And we're still in the same position, arguing about the same things. It's just, we're getting to a point now, Paul, where the truth is spilling out everywhere. They're not going to hide this much longer.
Yeah. No, I'm just happy enough. I mean, because I've seen posts and I've heard people over here on about, and even people try to quote certain things about, I do under this Discrimination Act. There's been a legal precedent set already for 7,000, and I'm going, hang on, you read a story that went round the Facebook. There's a man I know that gave out the information. You haven't even listened into the podcast, and they're all chatting about this 7,000, and they're all got a plan to run the solicitors, and the solicitors won't even deal with the case. So I thought, so the way I wanted to get that conversation, you seen it yourself where I tagged a couple of lads in one night because of the information you were giving out, and that's the point I was trying to get to. That even over here, we can bring the case. I keep saying it to other people. You don't need solicitors. Don't want raising money and thousands of pounds. You can bring a court case yourself, and you can do the discrimination the case yourself as well. And as you said there, you can just quote a couple of their own acts. It's not personally the way I do things, but the way you do it, people might have an understanding to that more so when it comes to acts and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm telling you now, Paul, my experience in this, I know it's the jurisdiction, if you like, what we're going into. But when you break it down, the legislator, which are the parliamentarians that you vote in, the 650 odd or whatever, they create an act. That act must be beneficial for man. It must be. The problem is the legislature then hand it over to the executive, which is the Prime Minister. And the executive put regulations into that act to where they can make revenue. The problem is that only applies to commercial aspects of that act. And people don't understand that, because when they're talking to Mr. Miss Mrs., they reply as Mr. Miss Mrs. and they're doing nothing wrong. It's the ignorance of us that's caused this. It's not just them keeping information from us. It's the fact that Love Island's on and we're not interested. We're arguing about the European Super League now. It's all distraction.
Again, what a lot of people don't seem to understand when you say about acts, people don't understand acts is not law. So it's far from that. Acts, as you said there, it's got to do with corporation. It's all corporate business, so it is. And that's what acts are.
Right, Paul, though, the act set up must be beneficial to us. So what they're basically doing is everything must be beneficial to man. What you're talking about is the commercial aspect, which the executive put in. Now, the judiciary are meant to balance those two. They're meant to oversee. The trouble is, we've got a judiciary that is in bed with the executive, and we've got a legislator that doesn't want to rock the boat. That's where we're down.
Well, you see, that's where I was going to say, well, back to the Iraqs and your legislature. Look, it's the legal system, and the legal system is set up for commas and commas only. That's what legal system is. Acts and statutes is the legal system, commas. Over there, Magna Carta, people go by that. Over here, they'll try to talk about constitutions. There's even a group on about changing the constitution. Do you want to go from one constitution back? No, but what people don't realize, a constitution is a set of rules. It's a rule book for corporated businesses. And in that, they convert us into a citizen and everything else, which is a corporated business. And that's how we apply for it. And if you stand underneath any of them books, you're also standing as a corporate, not as a man or a woman.
Right. Paul, this is where, when I got involved with, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy called David Robinson. David Robinson was one of the guys who took back Glastonbury Town Hall back in 2011, 2012, with the Freeman stuff. Now, David, he's no longer with us. He's passed away. But when I was talking with David, he was all constitution like that. It was all man. It was all God's law. It was law of the land, blah, blah, blah. And I can't disagree with any of that because I know it's correct. What I was saying to David was, look, I'm Paul, the man. However, I have an entity that is Mr. Paul Webster, and that is registered and it is logged within a commercial system that I've decided I will vote for people to represent me. So that's the system that's represented for the man. What they're trying to do is say there is no man, there is only the corporate. So my version is, well, if I can show that Paul as a man is alive on paper, then Mr. Paul Webster, therefore, must be my monopoly piece that nobody else can use. It's got a number attached to it, so it's only mine. So therefore, if my number is attached to a penalty notice, I must have signed it. Where have I signed it? Oh, you've signed it there. Oh, well, I've agreed to it. That's how this system works. It's about agreement. I understand totally what you're saying, Paul, and I totally agree with you. That's how it should be. It should be so black and white. I'm the man. Yes, you are. But have you made this business agreement for a fixed penalty notice? What have you got? Well, I've got your name and address. Have I signed it? Well, no. Then you haven't got an agreement. So you can't issue a fine. And that's how you start breaking this down. You start showing yourself, not going into the courts going, I'm a man. Anybody can stand in a business court and say, I'm a man. They're going to look out at you and think you're an idiot.
I'm a man with no...
I probably would have done that back in the earlier days myself. I'm the flesh and blood man that stands here, or the living man, or God.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I probably would have done that in the early days.
No, everybody was doing it in the early days. That's why I knew, no, we don't need to, we shouldn't be doing that. Everybody else was getting arrested or all kinds, losing properties. We had people.
Well, here's one of the most
with council tax over this stupid stuff.
Here's something important for people that if you are going to go into court and challenge them in any sort of way, and you're going in the flesh and blood man or anything, as soon as the judge calls out the name, you just stand up and you go, I object straight away. Now you've objected to everything.
I can't stand up.
Well, you just sit there and you go, I object. And if the judge looks down and says anything to you, can you stand up? And you'll say, can you stand up? Ask him to stand up instead. Or as Mr. T would say, he turn around and say, why don't you ask the judge, is he sitting on his ass or his brains?
I mean, you know, all this information that you know, Webby, and you know, a few people listening, and Paul, I'm sure you know enough. You know, you've got your expertise as well over there in Ireland. But don't you think that this is the vital point where that information that has been learned and gleaned by people is that now is probably one of the most important times to use that?
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean, we've got the information's been there for a long time. I had this conversation today, Jace, actually, that we were talking about something to do with work, to be fair, and we were talking about how the truth is always going to come spilling out. And I said, well, you can see that the truth is spilling out because I've had a few issues going on in private. I've seen in the chat room that people are saying that the gas is free. I've seen that coming up on other channels as well, because people still want to make fun out of your gas being free. But if you're not willing to be humble enough to accept that somebody else might know something you don't, then I'm done with talking to those people. Jace will tell you that I wanted to headbutt people with every word I've spoken to try and make them think. I'm past all that. I'm past all of it because people will be idiots if they want to be. However, when I said your gas is free, the first thing I would have done was, it's free, will you tell me how? That would have been my first question, not you're a dickhead. And that's where we're at. I've posted in the private chat, Jace, Kester's website for the disability.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So if you can get access to that, Paul, you can actually ask him yourself.
Yeah. No, happy to. It's just I have something on mind, and it's just something I needed to know beforehand, you know, that sort of way, before putting something together with a couple of people for them. But I wanted to address something quickly here as well. Is it Stephen Moore? I'm not bad at reading. Just anybody that doesn't know me, I'm not the best at reading at times. Stephen Moore has no, Paul, wait till the clerk calls you in. Only on the third time does he say your real name. When the judge asks your name, tell him, ask the clerk. Absolutely not. Absolutely not what I do out like that. I've done all that stuff like that all in the past. I can go in there, and the reason why you'd say object, anybody that knows a fella called Mr. T that used to do PIR years ago, the odd time, Mr. T. You object straight away. Before you even stand up and even walk up to the front of that court, so much is after transpiring between the court and whoever's making the claim against you that you don't even realise. You need to object before any of them say a word. Your objection now is doing away with everything. Now you wait till you come back and you usually say what's your objection and you say whatever. I've gone in there and I've used different things. I've gone in and used constitutions. I've gone in and used completely different things over 50 times in a couple of years on the same case. And I stopped going into the courts. They used to come out and arrest me. I'd done all sorts of things. But what people didn't realise, people that around me knew it, I was learning. And they stuck me in the jails, and even in the jails, people knew not to come looking for me, even when I went into the jails. Wait till I try and get my ass out force in different ways. So I used to go in the end, and I go, I object. Now, over here, you can do something over there. There's something similar. I object. Is this a Dáil Éireann court? Because over here, they pretend to be a Dáil Éireann court. Is this a Dáil Éireann court? The judge never has answered me that question. And you turn around and say many things, and anything he says, I just go, I can't hear you. Because if he hasn't said yes or no to me, answered yes or no, anything he says after that, I cannot hear. Can't hear you. Can you answer me question? Blah, blah, blah. Again, is this a Dáil Éireann court? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I must be free to go if you can't answer any questions, and away out that door with me. I've also got a piece of paper, blah, 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 done my own habeas corpus, walked up, handed to the judge, and walked out of the courts as well. People didn't realise what I was doing. I've also been in courts asking them have they got a legal valid bona fide licence for operating a business when they know nowhere in the world has. But yeah, I am standing there with a legal valid bona fide licence in my hand for growing my own cannabis, and I'm asking them a copy of it, and I'm asking, have you got one of these basically? The court has accepted having this because they've never given me it back. So there's not an awful lot of things, lads, that I haven't been trying or haven't done in there.
No, we have all done it, haven't we? We've all been through that, and you know, and I've done it myself. I were in I stood proudly, and the clerk of the court, it were a speeding fine that I would just weren't going to pay. And he actually came with me and was studying in public gallery. I think he took most of it up. But he were in Barnsley. I can't remember what it were, but the clerk of the court started talking to me. I can't remember what advice I'd had or what I were going to claim, what I were going to do. But this clerk of the court started talking to me and saying, name. And I said, no. And she says, well, you are. And I just stood and turned to the side. So I weren't listening to her. I almost went, and anyway, I says, she finished, and I said to her, before I talk to you, I want them out. Fucking magistrates went out. It was really surreal and weird, but it took about 3 or 4 hearings before they got me, and I ended up with 3 points on my license. But I think I got only about a 15 quid fine.
Sometimes, you see, it depends on what if it's a driving offences and this, that, and the other. You know, what they were doing me, they were trying to do me with a section 15 over here, which would have been giving me 5 to 10 years. For me plants, they were classing as criminality. They had a value on them of an next to 11,000 or something crazy. And I was looking at 5 to 10 years, so I was. So it wasn't a case of me going in there and challenging a driving offence, a parking ticket, or your local tax show.
Yeah. Go on, Webber.
I'm still here today telling the story.
I'm just going to say I've got a few people in the chat room who are asking about gas again. Who do you pay? Why is it already paid? Right, I'm going to try and put it into a paragraph. When you're registered as a baby, you are going to get an employee number. When you become of age and you get a job, your government will take tax off you. That's the government that is working for you. So my government will now take tax money and give British Gas a contract. British Gas, I want you to go to the North Sea, drill for gas, bring it to the land, refine it, and pump it into the grid. So our government has used our money, our taxes, to pay them to do that. Now, as a creditor, you need to balance the creditors' books at the Treasury. So British Gas at a private home will give you a bill. On that bill is a negotiable instrument that you need to sign and date, give it them back. They now become Mr. Paul Webster because you've allowed them to do that under power of attorney. They go to your gas account, zero in it, which is setting off the debt. The Treasury then know that Mr. Paul Webster's creditors balanced his part of the debt. That lowers the national debt, meaning no austerity. However, Paul is taught to pay for his gas. So I promise to pay for my gas. So when I get the bill with the negotiable instrument attached to it, I pay them instead. So I promise to do something with it. And they tell the Treasury, Mr. Paul Webster has not authorised us to balance his books by setting it off. He's promised. So the Treasury tell the government, who add interest to the national debt goes up, the government step in with austerity. Our parents taught us to work hard and pay. That is the complete opposite of what you were taught at Eton by the age of 13, who you're taught the Bills of Exchange Act. If I could explain it any simpler, I'll try. I'll keep working on it. But you've got to let go of the concept that you've got any money. You're dealing in paper. I promised to pay for that car. Well, there's your car. I'll go and promise for something else. Once the economy's gone, there is no credit. Therefore, there is no economy. We've furloughed jobs that aren't coming back. We've lost businesses that aren't coming back. Our credit rating is going to drop like a stone. And people are going to, curl up in a ball and cry like babies because they don't want to go and learn something. And that's a scary aspect of being somebody who's been involved in this for the best part of 12 years and is trying to speak with people from common sense. And then you just really do, you understand that common sense has left.
Can I address
this is the only common sense show on the internet at all. The only one that's got any common sense. Sorry, go on. I interrupted somebody. Go on.
And do you know what? Yes, sorry for interrupting again, guys. But I've just seen in the chat room, wish Lecky was free. I don't know how to explain this. You paid for it.
Webby.
I want to say it.
Webby. I was actually going to add a bit to that there for the electric being free. But it's going to say Bandit Buster, is it? How many plants had I? I had 11 plants growing. Some of them were only a couple of weeks old. There were 3 different stages. I had 2 bars of pollen, and I had a couple of jars with other bits of different grass that I grew before that. And it was all for making my own oil and for my own consumption and nobody else. I was a greedy bastard, if you excuse the language. If somebody came into my house, it's different, but none of that went out here. Because I was under a license, and a legal, valid, bona fide license. The only man in the world to have one, so I was. And their system was annoyed. There's one for you. But apart from that, there was another yoke. I seen someone addressing about the Constitution, Vatican debt contract scams. Absolutely, Constitution. Again, I say even over here, anybody that wants to stand under the Constitution. Constitution is for rules, acts, legislations for the corporated businesses. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Canada, there's a load of them. They're all under the Commonwealth Constitution. The Commonwealth Constitution controls the states, the governments, and all within that section. The state itself brings out a constitution to govern the people, because the people are turned into a corporate business as well. They're only for corporate business. Anything of rules, acts, anything at all, like contracts. Before it was a constitution and there were charters, I think. There was something else then, somebody else. Oh yeah, way back to what Webby was saying there about electricity and gas. The world went bankrupt in 1933. Was it Webby? 33. The world went bankrupt, and when the world went bankrupt, governments through our equity, all gas and oil and anything is all paid already. It's prepaid. So it is. The electric used to come into our house for nothing when electric force came out. You got one bulb, so you did. And after that, if you wanted any other, you paid for yourself. years later, I think they bought one of the old pennies or 1 shilling, a monthly charge. When they introduced the meter, they bought the money in. You see, what people don't realise, the electricity is still free, but it's the meter you're paying for. You see, every time that wheel runs around, it goes 1, 2, 3. Some fella somewhere or some company is charging you to tell you how many units you've used. That's all. That's what it's about. Same as when you park and it says parking fine, because you parked inside the square box, you're safe, your parking is fine. That little box told you so when you have to pay for it.
Paul, I'm gonna disagree about the meters, because you can go and buy your own meter as long as it's fitted by somebody qualified and you have a safety certificate. Your only obligation is to register that meter with a billing company who can then give you a bill as creditor, or if it's a shop, give you an invoice as a debtor. So the meter aspect, you can stop. Don't get worried about it. Fit your own meter. All you're obligated to do is to ask a company who can bill you to register it with them. They register it with you and your name, and they should issue you with the correct negotiable instrument. That's how simple this is. What we've got companies who are coming in. You know, you've got like British Gas, Scottish Power, all them, and then you've got Bulb, Octopus. Well, all those are saying is, we'll steal less equity off you than the big boys. The big boys are taking £60 off you. We'll take 45. That's all they're doing. They're stealing less from the equity, from the creditor. We don't know how to act as creditor, so we need to go and learn those rules. And whilst people are still calling people names without going reading, well, do you know what? Where does that retard sign hang under? If you're ignorant of something, that is one thing. If you are then not ignorant and you are shown something, to dismiss it without looking makes you stupid.
Anyway, guys, we're an hour in, I think. What does it tell me? Where the fuck does it tell me how long? Oh, I did 1 hour and 2 minutes.
1 hour.
I get minutes and hours and seconds mixed up. It's fucking amazing. I can last all night for 3 minutes. Anybody, Louis Oscar has put, anybody know why John Wedgery is on the thumbnail? Now, John Wedge is on the thumbnail just because I like that picture. I made that picture up, and you know, I think it's a nice picture. I just, you know, it asks you to put a thumbnail up, and if you can be asked, if you've got a guest on, you'll put a picture of them. But if you've not, and you just put up any old picture up, so sorry about that. Yeah, it's we've gone an hour. You're listening to Raconteurs News here with we've got Paul Cotty over there in Ireland. The Webster Report with Botto. Good, Paul Webster. Good evening to you, mate. We've got the Donegal Werewolf there hanging about. He's lurking. I think he's probably going to come in the last 10 minutes and like smash a goal into, you know. It'll be the one that comes on. That's Dinny anyway, the Donegal Werewolf.
Mate, sounds over in a minute.
Great reading the stuff in the chat. If you're not in the chat, then please get yourself in the chat. You can get yourself a name and a YouTube account. I don't know how it works, whether you can do it without a YouTube account or not. But anyway, you can get yourself in the chat and come and say hello. I hope that my friends Donna and Matt Caddy are watching or listening or going to listen to it. And also big hello to people who are going to listen to this and watch this after it's all finished. So we've gone from day to night behind me, as you can see, through the window. I've just watched, while you were talking, I've just watched the last few minutes, I think injury time at Wednesday against Blackburn, which I can report that Wednesday won 1-0. So we're still not down yet, but it still don't look good. I mean, Rotherham above us, Rotherham, Derby are 4 points above us, and Rotherham are on same points as us, but they've got 3 games in hand. So we'd have to overcome 2 of them. So no problem. We'll go down. We'll come back up. Football's fucking finished anyway, isn't it? They're never going to let the fans back in. I mean, there were 4,000 at that fucking FA Cup semi-final, and there's going to be I think 20,000 at FA Cup final, and they're not going to be fans. They're going to be people, key workers, all these people that will wear masks and sit there and clap along, and they're not proper fans. It's not real. They've fucked us football up fucking good and proper. And I think it's probably for the best, because it needs a fucking great shake-up right down, fucking right through divisions, and we ought to just fuck Premier League off and fucking I was own shit. You know, in fact, now not fuck Premier League off, but you know what I mean. I mean, we need more money filtering down. I mean, clubs like Bury, they shouldn't have gone out of existence. They've been around 100 years. They've been around longer than fucking Queen and Queen Mother and fucking Phil the Pill, who fucking just farted, who had a funeral which coincided with my wife's birthday. You know, so if it weren't depressing enough before, it's fucking depressing enough after. So we've had quite a lot of stuff going on that's been taking our mind away from the way that this government's dealing with the C word, and we'll not talk about the V word. Do you know, I don't want to do that vaccine. I will talk about vaccines. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine tonight. There's been something on TV. I switched the news on just before I come up, just to have a look, see what we're going on. And the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been declared safe, although it's been causing blood clots. Now, as somebody who is prone to blood clots, I've had tons in my life. You know, why would I be taking that? And also, what I want to ask all of you, really, because I don't get out in daily life, but my wife does, and she says, you know, a lot of people do ask her, do you ever get people asking if you've been vaccinated? Because, you know, for me, if somebody said to me, have you been vaccinated? I'd say, well, have you been vaccinated? And if they said, yeah, then I'd say, well, you're all right then, aren't you? You don't need to know whether I've been vaccinated. So have you been asked when you've been anywhere? Anybody? We'll start with, let's start in Germany, didn't it?
No, not been asked. No. But do you see the blood clots, right? Jason, you've had enough operations, right? You know, you put on these fucking fancy tights, stop blood clots. Some people flying to put them on. Why don't they fucking give them the vaccination and fucking make them wear fucking tights when they're taking it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
no, seriously, hang on a minute. I mean, I had to put them on once. I had an 8-hour operation, right? And after the operation, they give me an injection for, is it thrombose or what they call it? How the fuck does that? Hang on a minute. How are they connecting this vaccine to blood clots? Anybody know? Webby, Paul, Jason? How are they connecting this vaccine to blood clots?
There's probably been a high number of people that have had blood clots after they've had the vaccine, so they've made the link. But we were told it was still safe. You know, I mean, how does that fucking work? What you do? They're actually telling you on TV, if you have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, there's a high chance you're going to get blood clots. And if you get a blood clot on lung or in your heart or even in your leg, I mean, that's what cost me my leg, is a blood clot. So at what point?
Maybe be able to go all Jamaican and myself then, and anybody that got the vaccine, I'd be able to go up to them and say, "Wagwan blood clot."
How are they connecting the vaccine to a blood clot?
Well, they must.
Nothing like one, you know, blood clot. Dogs, you want it?
Well, you see, it's obvious that a lot of people have had that vaccine. Have had blood clots. There's been lots of people that have had vaccines that have died. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti these vaccines. I wouldn't have this vaccine. In fact, I wouldn't have any vaccine. I don't think you need it. But I'm not anti-vaccine. If you want to put me into a category, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I mean, my mother suffered from polio when she was a kid, and so if she'd had a polio vaccine, because it's affected her for the rest of her life. So, you know, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm just anti this sort of where we are in history. You know,
would it be true, Webby?
Point.
Webby, I was saying Webby, Jason. If you're not anti-vaccine, but you might be more worried about the ingredients into it. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I might not just agree with the ingredients that go into them. Or my body might not like the ingredients that go into them.
Yeah, right. I like
Paul, do you know what's in the vaccine?
I know a lot of ingredients, yeah.
Well, please type them out to me. Type every fucking thing that's in it.
But you see, the whole thing is all these are a new type of vaccine. These are not the old vaccine what everybody's on about. These are all new type of vaccine, and this is where your GMO protein cells and RNAs coming in.
It's not a vaccine.
It's not a vaccine.
Webby, what's in this vaccine? Can you name some of the things that's in this vaccine?
This isn't a vaccine. This is
okay. It's not a vaccine, but what's in this? Okay, what's in this injection?
That's what I'm saying. I've got to flesh it out because a vaccine would have part of a remnant of the infection. So you would inject an infection into a body. The body's immune system would go, fucking hell, that's an infection. We need to do something. So it would create antibodies, virus, whatever, to get rid of it.
Webby, what's wrote on the little bottle?
What do you mean?
Before they inject it into you, they've got to say what's in the little bottle, what they're putting into you, right?
Well, this is it.
What is it?
Because it's not a vaccine, they're telling you they're going to inject you with man-made proteins. So this messenger RNA, if you have, I think it's the AstraZeneca, it's the mRNA. If you have the Pfizer, it's the genetically modified organism. Now, instead of infecting you with something, what your body will create antibodies to, they are giving you an injection that will create antibodies. However, Geert van den Bosch, who's worked for Pfizer and for Bill Gates, has stated, we've got to stop this rollout because we are, for want of a better way of putting it, I'll put it in speech marks, vaccinating people who haven't been infected. So therefore, what you're getting is you're getting antibodies, but no infection. Well, the infection must come first for an antibody to be created against it. So basically what Geert van den Bosch is saying is that we are potentially we are creating an immunity catastrophe by injecting people who haven't been infected, who are going to create these magnificent antibodies. And he says the injection is great, it's really strong, it's going to create some good antibodies. But when you get infected, the antibodies will not recognize that infection and virtually allow it a free passage through the immune system to your organs, where it could treble in strength, and then you, as a vaccinated person, will pass that on, treble strength, to somebody else who's been vaccinated but not infected.
Maybe that wasn't the question, mate. What is in the vaccine? Is it not by law they have to tell you what they're injecting into you? There must be a list of.
I know where you're going about the ingredients and all that. And some of the ingredients that I know of is the likes of your formaldehyde, the fetus, which you need a live fetus for what they call the virus. If they put a virus into a vaccine, you need no live fetus to attach to it. Otherwise, the so-called virus dies off or disappears, which is really exomes from an animal, is what they put in. And they're exomes. But apart from that,
the virus, it's not alive. I had a virologist explain this to me. I said, because she was saying I can't catch a virus. So I said, can you explain that to me? Because as an 8-year-old, my dad was told by a doctor I'd caught a virus. I've just got to let it work through. Can you tell me in layman's terms? And she said, yes, this is a surface contact bacterial infection. So you're touching a surface, picking up food, rubbing your eye, whatever, and your body will create a virus which isn't a live entity. It's like salt. It's a solvent to take control.
Maybe a couple of months ago, I was on here chatting, and that what's your man's name that was on? He actually had a book or two out. We had a bit of a dispute. I can't think of his name. Neil Sanders. And I explained to him about exomes and everything else, and exomes release a solution, just like you're saying there, a solution. That's what exomes do.
You know what you did wrong?
That's to clean the cells of any genetically modified or raised that your body can't detox of.
It's a detox of what you were talking about. It's your
Absolutely.
body.
It's when your body is detoxing and stuff like that, and that's what I said. But what they used to do with the old vaccines and all that, and they still have it in now, is they're using that sticky solution which comes from your exomes. They're getting that from the animals because animals have to detox as well. And then when they put that into the body, when you put it into the vaccine with the fetus, it's like a Trojan horse. Yes. So now when they put this genetically modified RNA and protein in with it, the body or our cells will recognize the fetus as the RNA strands. Behind that, then you've got attached is your GMO and your GMO proteins and your RNA. They go into your cell and they go into the nucleus.
Yes.
And from then what we be releasing is genetically modified.
And we're in. That's exactly what they're saying. Now, the people are saying you should have Neil Sanders on. Wow. I think that would have, I think this conversation would have died a death. Cheers.
It's always fun having Neil on.
I know it's mate.
I get paid double for having him on. And,
I didn't have an argument or a conversation with Neil, but he asked me a question on a thread, and it was basically about his work. And I said, I have no problems with your work, Neil. I've even read some of your stuff. I went, but I've read it in many other people's works as well. So I'm not saying that Neil plagiarizes because he puts his own spin on things. He brings in other bits of information. So I wouldn't discredit him with something so innocuous. But what I'm saying is that it was all information I already knew. So I can't disagree with him on it. But it's when I've been on the show with you, Jace, and he's gone, that's wrong with what we're talking about. And I don't know how to get Neil to go and look at something like that because he has his opinions, as we all do.
In fairness to Neil, he does. Sorry, in fairness to you and anybody else that's listening, Neil does seem married to the to the stuff that he says.
Yes.
So there's an old.
He's definitely investment.
There's an old saying in poker is "Don't get married to your hand." Right?
Jason, did you not read his book?
I get that, James. I get that.
I've got it here. It's I'll show you. I've not read it.
What's in his book, by the way?
He's a
Anything
great way.
interesting?
He's a great way of diverting things when you ask him certain things and all right. He can divert very quickly and knows exactly what he's doing when he's diverting and bringing in something that's off subject, but within where he's trying to guide you.
The only thing with this book is that the text was just too small, and my glasses, because I would need reading glasses, I didn't get one. Yeah, but it is, from what I did read, it is pretty good. So yeah, I've got, it's a signed copy as well, and it's got a little.
Webby, the way you were describing someone giving information there, and it's other information out there, you've read the same thing, heard the same thing. When I used to do the radio show and chat about the courts and all this kind of stuff, I used to say, this is all information that's out there. All I'm doing is packaging it together and giving you my understanding. And that's all I'm doing today still.
That's exactly it. That's it. But Paul, if I was to then say to you about maybe not even some of the information that you're talking about, but if I was to say to you, hey, Paul, what do you think of this? And then all of a sudden you just look at it and go, well, that's a load of shite. And I go, well, have you read this? Have you seen this? What do you think? Is there no questions about this? If you just go, no, that's a load of rubbish, then you go down in my estimation. Whereas if you go, I don't know about that, I'll go and have a look and then come back to me, you're in it. You're in it. It's when people go, look, that's what I've written, that's what I believe. You can't tell me any different because I know that. And I'm not saying Neil's like that, because I've had some decent conversations with Neil and we've disagreed on quite a bit as well. But the factor is, we're all working in the same direction. If anybody, and again, I'll take this away from Neil, I'm on about everybody who comes into this arena, I don't know what else to call it, but and starts talking about things. If you haven't got, put it this way, if you don't believe what you're saying, then that will be found out. And if when you're presented with that information that challenges your belief, if you can't look at it and go, well, that has challenged me, and this is my, my reassessment of that, if you can't do that, then there's something not right with you, because you've got to be humble. I don't know everything. I mean, I came out 10 years ago when your gas is free. Let's talk about it. No, you're a dickhead. You don't quite understand what. Yeah, I do. I've got a degree in socioeconomics or whatever. Well, you don't understand this though. Have you read the bills of exchange? No. Oh, well, there we go. I can't get a Mars bar from the shop without bills of exchange. So if I don't know about it, could I be missing out on something? I think so. And I think people have got to throw some balls, take some responsibility for themselves, understand they don't know everything, and then ask questions, because that's all I've got are questions. And if I'm called names, I know that I'm right or I'm onto something at the very least. When it becomes illegal to ask questions, you know that you're onto something.
Well, there's also the underhand stuff as well. You know, when you say when it becomes illegal to ask questions, it's while it's not illegal to ask questions at the moment. I mean, you can run into getting your channel deleted for asking questions. You've not done anything wrong. You've just asked the question, like we do here. We ask, we talk about it. We talk about all sorts of nonsense. At the moment, there's only one show in town. If I'm disregarding the fucking football nonsense, it's just been put there just to fucking distract us even more. And then they'll come to an agreement where the big clubs don't want, these 12 clubs don't want crowds in the fucking Champions League games because they can make more money out of sponsorship being all over everywhere. I don't know what it's going to be, but we've got things that are taking us attention away. Again, you know.
Jason, could you see a point where, yeah, we're all out of this European Super League, and why? Because of the fans. Because the fans have come out and done this. So now we can all celebrate with each other. Look at what we did. Do you see how just that momentary distraction takes away everything once they're setting up a big reset that we've had several other times and people don't know about?
You do well if
bang on Webby, mate. You got that.
Wouldn't you be doing well if all them football fans turn around and says we're not wearing masks and you can dump his vaccine?
Mm-hmm.
You're right with that support.
Boom. That's the power that people would have if they actually believed in themselves and not wanting somebody else. I mean, sorry for going back a little bit here, Jace, but somebody posted in about the bills of exchange stuff. They're willing to offer me money to do that for them. I've had thousands of pounds offered to me. You've got to do it yourself. You'll never understand it if you don't do it yourself. Nobody did it for me. I had to get to where I got to have an understanding.
And of course,
it's not in everybody's remit, that.
And definitely nobody done that time for me during my learning.
Yeah.
But you see, Webby, if you'd have accepted that, I mean, you're taking on some responsibility for the outcome. If the outcome doesn't go the way that you expect it to go or want it to go, you probably get a magistrate that's fucking just caught his wife shagging another fucking magistrate, and you're fucked, aren't you?
Yes, that's basically it. You've got so many people. I mean, at the moment, privately, I've been attacked through work. Now, that's getting serious when somebody hasn't got the balls to actually speak to your face, not even over a keyboard, but would take it somewhere else. I've got fuck all to hide me, Jace. I'll take everything on what you want to throw at me, because when the truth comes out, there's going to be so many people who are left feeling foolish about this. It's not just about this pandemic. I mean, I posted an article today. Chris Whitty in 2018 was saying, once you've got the R rate below 1, the pandemic's dying out. You go and have a look at the R rates everywhere in this fucking country. It's dying out. But guess what? People have gone on a vaccination that isn't a vaccination that's going to create more issues come next flu season. But hey, I'm just fucking not talking about that, won't I?
We've got the new Indian variant, 2 Indian variants. So it's such an emergency that nobody can fly into the UK from India without being in some sort of quarantine from Friday. It's just so fucking ridiculous. These measures in place.
Jason, over here they have them going into quarantine in the hotels. €1,800 is 12 days. And someone had a video up there during the week. It's actually the Irish Defence Force, the so-called Irish Army, who's in charge of looking after them.
I seen that, Paul. Yeah. Paul, did you see the two escaped at the hotel in Dublin?
Yeah.
The fucking army street looking for them. That is true. The fucking army in Ireland looking for 2 people who went out for a drink.
It's fucking mental, isn't it?
Paul, it's fucking true.
We've turned it into a joke of the planet.
It's gone. Reality's gone, lads. It's gone.
We've become a joke of a planet. I mean, if there is other planets out there, which I fucking doubt.
I doubt. Because there can't be anybody as retarded as our planet. There can't be. Look at them dickheads listening to what this. I don't know what to say to people anymore, boy, because you try and have a common sense conversation, and somebody will use something, and you go, well, when you apply common sense to that, what does it say? Well, I know, but that's what we've got to do. What? You know, you've got a banking system, right? If I work for Barclays Bank and I'm minus 20 grand, I can then just enter 20 grand in the positive, and I can call that positive accounting. Whereas if I'm running a news agent and I do that, it's fraud. So you see the balance is just not there.
But we've got helicopters on Mars. I mean, did you see that? I mean, that's just got to be the fucking most ridiculous thing. I looked at a few comments. So I saw it on Facebook, and I looked at a few comments. You know, they were like thousands of the fuckers.
And isn't it great?
All of them going, I watched the moon landings in 1969, and when I was watching this helicopter on Mars, they were a tear in my eye, and I thought to myself, fuck me, you're watching a fucking cartoon and it's making you cry. You've watched a fucking bad play on a fucking terribly fucking a terrible TV compared to what we got today. With pictures that didn't take fuck all, and there were no time difference between fucking talking to Moon and talking to Earth, even though it was supposed to be 11 fucking seconds. And you fucking bought that, and now you're buying fucking an helicopter on Moon that flew about 10 feet. About 10 feet. Not Mars, sorry.
We're not on fucking Moon, mate. We're fucking gone further. We're on Mars. We're
fucking Mars, man. It's got an helicopter. It's got more than me. Mars has got more than me. It's fucking piss place to be. It's a horrible place to be, isn't it? Fucking Mars.
I'm going to try and get in touch with John Carter, because when he went from Earth to Mars, because the gravitational pull wasn't as much, he could fucking leap buildings. We need John Carter on there. Let's go and have a word with John. Because if people think that we've flown to Mars and landed, and then we're flying little helicopters round Mars, then it always stems to the fact that I could have beachfront property in Birmingham if you want to buy it. I don't know what to say to people who just buy into this, because when you ask ordinary childlike questions, you don't get answers, Jace.
No, you don't. No, and like even that even say right that it wouldn't fucking surprise me. They say, oh well, the helicopter, we did it for a second flight, and it was shot down by some fucking some minority Martians.
The Greens.
The Greens, the fucking Greens, always causing trouble. I mean, the fucking Greys are like talking about it all the time behind the backs, saying that.
And you ever realise, isn't it, to see all these space programs, isn't it the taxpayers' money that goes towards them?
Yes!
Right.
Billions.
So the taxpayers' money goes towards it, right? All the technology they come up with, they say that's all sold back to big industries, and that all goes into all the technology we buy. From racing cars to TVs, all the technology that they use the taxpayers' money to come up with, to go to these moons and Mars, they sell back to the big companies. Who gets the profit out of all that? So if we pay
let's look at it. Let's look at it this way. When you're told that NASA get 18 billion a year from taxpayer monies, right? What is their incentive to pretend that they're landing on planets out of the ordinary? Is there an incentive there? 18 billion. By the way, we've no photographs of Earth. Why? It comes in data stream, and we've got to put it through Photoshop. And
it's fucking camera shy.
Yeah, an artist paints it. So what you're telling me is we give you 18 billion, and you pay somebody to paint us a picture. Yeah.
That's because it'd be another 20 billion to build a camera that can take a picture through the space sparus dust that's flying around.
Well, like Lucifer, the Vatican's.
Aye.
I don't know
What about the Hubble telescope? Like, what about the Hubble telescope? Why can't they just turn it around and just take a picture and then turn it back around and let it go on its fucking way? Must be able to see it, as it can see fucking different galaxies fucking millions of miles away. It'll send us pictures and pictures of fucking circles of rocks and fucking planets and bollocks.
Well, maybe the artist was on leave for them 2 weeks when we sent all that information back. That's why I've not seen them. Who knows? All I know is
I thought the Chinese landed on Mars. Where's all that shit going about the Chinese land on Mars?
Did they open up?
Hang on a minute. They landed on Mars before the fucking Yanks, didn't they?
Have you ever bought out from fucking China? Right?
China fucking did pictures and everything, man.
They're getting fucking nowhere. I'm telling you, fucking right thin metal, right fucking on rockets and that. They're getting nowhere. They just
Oh, it was the moon, was it? Sorry, Spanish. I thought the Chinese were up on Mars.
No, nobody's on fucking Mars.
I know there's nobody fucking up there.
The Chinese landed, or at least photographed, the dark side of the moon. That's where they went.
I thought that was Pink Floyd.
The moon, and they filmed the back of the moon, the dark side of the moon, with the Earth in the background. I don't know what was filming it, but there was something there. Oh, hang on a minute. It could have been... fuck's sake. Let's grow up. That's all I want. Grow up. Accept some responsibility for the fact that you don't know everything, and your parents might have not known everything, because the one thing that guts me is my parents were hard grafters. My mum did 13 hours a day in her own shop. My dad did 6 nights a week long distance lorry driving in the days where you had 6 days on, 1 day off, back on. And they taught me to work hard and pay my bills, which makes my life hard in a debt-based economy. So somebody was lied to, and I was lied to because of somebody. Who are those somebodies? That's what I want to know. And I'll find them.
Good luck
Probably
with that.
hiding in your fucking cupboard in your bedroom or something.
They're online right now.
Hey. Good evening, Apple Charlotte and Weefy Man. I just want to clear something up. Someone asked earlier on whether anybody had Prince Philip in the death sweep, right? That we did.
That was me. That was me that asked you.
Yes. Well, Super Leeds.
He's
Had
not
Prince Philip, and then he changed his mind and went for Ozzy Osbourne, and then changed his mind again and went for Paul McCartney. So if he'd have stuck with his first one, he would have been quids in and would have won it. So unlucky Super Leeds. I hope you listen. I'm sure you will listen to this as long as you're okay. And I'm sure someone will play it to you. And if you're feeling ill, then I wish you a speedy recovery, and I hope you feel better soon.
But where is Leeds, Jason?
That's what I mean.
Call him up. Call him up. Fuck it.
All right then.
Go on, give him a wee call.
If he's fucking asleep or out, I'm going to kill you. Well, he'll kill you.
And you know what the prize should be, Jason? That book you showed.
There you go. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Come on, Leeds.
Sorry, but the person you've called.
There we go. He's not answering. That's been it for quite a bit. So I'm a bit. You always get a bit worried about him, don't
Well,
you?
if you speak to him, Jason, tell him I was asking, please, would you?
I certainly will. I'll tell him everybody were asking for him, about him. Apart from people that don't like him, I'll just say that. Mascara Snake said she felt sorry for the Queen. She lost her husband and cousin on the same day. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think Leeds needs an intervention as he looks ill? I'll just leave that one. Sassy Stone sounds like a tranny sex worker's name. Well, sorry, Sean Amos said, I realise the people I know who died in 2019 were lucky as fuck in some ways.
Can't disagree.
Well, I mean, to make you feel like that, I mean, this is not something that can be turned back and erased and.
It's a psychological attack, Jace. We've been psychologically attacked, and now it's spiritual. People who haven't got spirituality are just being ripped apart. Even people who've got some kind of a faith in whatever religion, they're the ones that are going to get attacked. I've never seen a mess like this, Jace, in my time in this fucking reality. It's awful.
Can I tell you something bad, mate? This is the start of it. Wait till this climate change bullshit kicks in.
Mate, it's all started.
No. Have you seen the plans for it yet?
Yes, but
all these smart meters, all that bullshit is all in place.
Mate,
believe me, this is only the start of it, Webby.
The vaccine passports, you go into the pub with your vaccine passport, comes under exactly what you're talking about, climate change.
Yep.
That's what they're incorporating this into. If people have not got the balls to say no, this will go forward. You go back to the 19th of March 2020, they lowered COVID-19 to a non-highly infectious disease. 20th, they locked us down, but Boris only said, if you can work from home, do so. If you can't, go to work. Everybody banged themselves up, and they couldn't believe the psychological test that worked. And they've just played about with people since. That's simple.
Webby, how many things have gone smart? Smart TVs, smart telephones, smart cars, smart fridges,
motorways.
Everything is good. Smart motorways. That's all in place. And this COVID is just playing straight into it.
Exactly. Hey, but you're a nutter, you.
It's been the plan for the main, hasn't it? This has been the plan, right? And we've been all talking about this is what's going to happen. Your liberties are going to be stripped away over some ridiculous reason, whether it be terrorism or whether it be a disease, a virus, or whether your liberties.
Final discharge, anything
away. And we've been saying it, and yet people. Even now, when it's happening and it started, people still can't see it and still will be, I would say, aggressive towards you if you try to, ruin their reality. And yet the reality is being ruined around them by the very people that they're fucking paying to ruin their life, and they're not doing out about it. We're a bunch of fucking pussies. We're a bunch of pussies. I tell you what, it's going to take about 2 or 3% of us to fucking sort this out. Ooh, whose ringtone's that?
That was mine, that, mate.
What the fucking hell's that?
Smart squirrels, smart this. Yeah, you probably get phone calls. The next morning, Mr. Jason Holmes, you left your light on in the hallway last night. If you don't refrain from doing that, we'll be cutting your power down through your smart meter.
Ain't got
Because of
one.
climate
Won't have
change.
one. Won't have one. Not got one. Never have one. Never fucking have one. I'd never have one. And if they told me I'd fucking got my fucking light on, I'd fucking turn all the house lights on.
Smart cars, purpose of your journey. Purpose of your journey. It's all
Smart
fucking
cars.
there. Smart cars, Webby. You know, all these little electric cars, little
Yeah.
smart cars, you put your details in. You don't need keys anymore.
I'll tell you what, Jace, don't accept that on your fucking mobility scooter, mate. You were in full control of it and you nearly went down a hill. Don't fucking accept that.
Oh, no, I'm not having a smart mobility scooter. Fuck that. They'll know where I am when I'm fucking in woods, you know, looking at the girls as they go by.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Fucking in the woods? I saw a film like that. It was called Don't Fuck in the Woods. A monster came and killed people who fucked in the woods. Don't be doing things like that, mate.
Oh,
No
man.
shagging in my woods.
Can you excuse me? This is my show.
You don't like your own woods then, didn't you?
You're two are bringing a tone down, you pair of cunts, by talking about fucking and that.
You said fucking in the woods, not me, mate.
You said shagging in the woods, Webby.
No, he said fucking in the woods. I said, whoa, hang on a minute. I've seen a film like that.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Possibly.
So, do you think, now this is a question I'm going to go
Excuse me.
clockwise with to get an answer. But do you think that the Queen's going to take another lover?
What?
Well,
Who are you asking?
Yeah,
Who are you asking?
you. I said it moving counterclockwise.
You said clockwise. That's Cotty.
I
Cotty's
said
clockwise.
I said
Cotty, yeah.
counterclockwise.
Scotty, is the Queen going to get married again?
No. Is she going to take a lover?
She's up. I
The fuck are you on?
reckon.
There's more chance of her taking a stroke at this age.
Who'd like to flick her fucking bean?
What if it emerged that there were secret filming pictures of Bruce Forsyth's corpse going into Buckingham Palace? I mean, you know, he'd been able to do that, wouldn't it?
Nice to see you. To see you nice.
He'd have been able to do that for her, and then she'd have gone, "Oh my God, come here and lick my pussy." And he'd have gone.
You know what, mate? That sounds like such a Sheffield thing to say. That.
Well, yeah, you know, the funny thing is, he'd probably pop up after he'd finished doing it, and fucking his wig had gone.
I reckon that's probably a chat-up line in some Sheffield clubs. That. I reckon that because of how the royal families seem to have been throughout history, I reckon she's already got people, lovers, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, we still have the what is it? The what's it called? Is it the Order of the Stool or something like that? Where we still have somebody who's employed to remove the royal turds and things like that.
Are you saying the Queen's got a rampant rabbit?
Can I address something there, please?
I don't think if she has, it won't be battery operated.
I can see this getting fucking rubbed from YouTube now.
Annie Moore has many a good tune played on an old fiddle, but the difference is with the Queen, she's down to one last string.
Shut up, Paul. Don't be rude.
Can you imagine though, climbing up there and then foraging your way through 94 years of fucking pubes just to try and find a fucking small slit. It's like never ending story, isn't it? You're one of these fucking look dragons.
Oh, stop that. They put it on his list, bro.
Here, Paul, did you see fucking Sinn Féin apologised for the death of Mountbatten and Sligo? What a bunch of fucking tosspot Sinn Féin are, eh? Fucking
And the best part of it
wankers.
all, she was MI5 just set it up. Their own all set it up. Even better, isn't it?
They fucking they killed the old cunt themselves.
Yeah, it's great. And Sinn Féin, Mary Lou apologising. Why did she pull the trigger?
Talk about Sinn Féin.
Apologising is the whoever blew the boat.
Bastard Sinn Féin are.
Well, that was our Irish correspondent there in Germany.
That's right.
Welcome to Raconteurs News. Well, they were. He just started talking about, and I have no idea what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
It was the biggest jigsaw puzzle in Sligo, Jason.
Sligo, right? Okay, you're talking about. Was it a solicitor?
No, he was. Was it his brother? Was it?
Oh, right. I'm thinking of the different. I'm thinking of the different thing.
Lord Mountbatten. His little boat was blown up in Ireland.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, yeah. Oh dear me. I wonder how much it cost to repair that boat.
He was well known,
by the way.
He was well known for paedophilia, and there was a load of stuff coming out of him at the time as well. And I think he was our Harry and the other brother as well. He was their uncle and all that kind of stuff. He was a nasty piece.
Oh yeah, you were Prince Charles's favourite uncle, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Probably because we put the wrong end of his aura in some places. But if how'd you blow up a fucking rowboat? Were it a rowboat?
No, it was a little sailboat.
I'm fucking weird. I know. It were.
But you know what? Actually, I'm not sure. Boy, or something on board at the time. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. I thought there was someone else. I don't know if there was any youngsters on board. I could be wrong.
There was a child on board. There was 3 people killed. Paul.
There was a child on board, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Oh no, we're here laughing at dead children.
No, I wouldn't be laughing at dead children. Far from it.
No, I know that. I know the incident.
I think what we do is we use our dark humour to highlight the things that are 98, 99% true. And when we're talking about, we could talk about kids from Haltdilla Gren. I've done an interview on your show, Jace, with Lenny Harper, who was Chief Constable, Detective Chief fucking Constable on Jersey when they're doing Haltdilla Gren. And they found shit. Forensic anthropology says there's 136 bones of children here, and then it turned out to be chicken bones. Jimmy Savile frequented Haltdilla Gren. Jimmy Savile took children to Ted Heath's bowl. Can we not ask these questions? If we can't, we are in shit.
Well, we are in shit, and we have been in shit. But what's happened is these issues and situations have become prevalent amongst what people might call truthers or whatever. But they've been presented by people that are less than credible. If you understand what I mean, less than.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Totally.
And that doesn't sit well with me. Bill Maloney, I've got no time for who I've met. I've got no time for many of the people. I mean, Mickey Summers used to come on, God rest his soul. Mickey Summers used to come on our show, the problem with Mickey were reining him in because he'd just come out and fucking say all sorts of shit. He said, I'm going to get him fucking bothered for this. Said, yeah, I'm running this and, I'm going to get him bothered. So that was the thing with Mickey Summers. You could tell that it was something that had affected him and that he'd been a part of, for want of a better phrase, and something that he'd been dragged into. Whereas then you've got fucking all these other cunts running about, like him who's on thumbnail, him who's fucking Bill Maloney. Who's that other one? Fucking not John Wedger. Who's the other one? Oh God, fucking hell! But it's all. It's not that I'm accusing them all, but it's all that it's questionable. You know what I mean? For me,
I go on. Sorry, mate.
No, mate. You go on. You have your bit.
No, I agree with the sentiment about being skeptical, right? And I agree there is a lot of grey areas around the people and the subjects we're talking about. When we get to John Wedger, right, I've spoken with John I've spoken with him so many times. I've interviewed him. He said the same story. He puts the same stuff out. He gets criticised about all the same stuff. He's contacted me when you've had people on your show who's criticising him, and he's going, "Why is this happening, Webby? Well, I'm only doing this as this." I take all that as information, Jace.
But listen, Webby. He might have said to you after, "Why is this happening?" After I've had someone on my show criticise me. I can guess who that is, but he could have come to me and said, "Look."
Yes,
but he didn't.
But that's what I've said. I've been the devil's advocate. I went, well, why don't you go and put this right? And his answer's always been the same and said, I can't keep doing everybody who tells me that I'm this. I can't keep going and correcting. And I come from the same kind of angle that I can't keep correcting everybody about a debt-based economy. Bills of exchange, you get arguments about everything. When I've spoken with John, when I've interviewed him, when we've gone on live, he's told the consistently same story. Now, we could always say that he's leaving stuff out. We could always say that he's lying. I can't get in touch with Bill Maloney. I've never been able to speak to him. I can't get in touch with Brian Harvey. I can't get to speak to him. The girl, the lady who I was in contact with, who's actually interviewed Brian Harvey, contacted Brian and said, Paul Webster would like to interview you on his show, and she got blocked. So I don't know any of all this. All I've got is information, Jason. I'd never disagree with you because you come from gut, as we've always discussed on this. But there's something more about this. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
Webby.
Do you get what I'm saying, Jace? There's something more about this, and it's not black and white. There's something niggly. Do you get me?
Yeah. Webby, if you had a chance to interview Brian Harvey, what would you ask him?
What would I ask Brian Harvey? Well, to be fair, I can't. Since I first tried to get an interview with Brian Harvey, everything that I was going to ask him about, he's come out with. He's made statements on. He's accused people. So you can't ever have a fair interview with Brian Harvey now, because once I've interviewed Brian Harvey, I've got to interview the people, and this is what we had, the trouble we had, Jace, wasn't it, with certain people. We had to interview them and then go on to other people and interview them, and then we'd have to interview the first people because they made accusations about the first, and it just gets too much. It's information at the end of the day. I don't care if you think that man is a bad man because of this, because somebody's going to go, well, he's a good man because of this. So I'm going to take both of those opinions and I'm going to speak to those people and take it from there. And all you can say is, we don't know. We haven't got any else.
Can I say something? Would it not be fair to say, like anything else, if somebody's on giving out information and all that, if it's the information, go off and do your own homework, due diligence on it, wherever you pronounce that. And if it's the person or the individual itself you don't like, go off and do background check on them as well. But it's up to each and individual to do that and to come to their own opinion on someone. Not to take it on screen and start bantering a load of rubbish on who's giving out false information and all sorts of shit.
Listen, Paul, nobody's saying anyone's giving out bad information. What I'm saying is, I met Bill Maloney. I've interviewed John Wedger on a number of occasions. In fact, I once got ambushed because Andy had booked him and I didn't know. Because I didn't want to talk to him again because the first time that I'd spoken to him. So I'm only basing my thing on what I got from him, and it's the same with Ian Crane. Another one, God rest his soul. I didn't get on with him. I interviewed him and just something not quite right. Just something not quite right. So we're not, pulling down anybody's information. Everybody should source information from everybody.
We don't know. That's it. At the end of the day, we just don't know. We've got to keep asking questions of people who claim to be this or claim to be that, or I'm not this, I'm not that. You've got to take that information in because until you speak, until you know, you haven't got a fucking clue because we are presented with so much shit information. You've got to go through this yourself. I mean, I'm seeing stuff now in the chat room and there's accusations there. And I think there's questions to be asked about things like that. Anthony Moore's put, what about his links with Anna Breeze? He's never said he's not been with Anna Breeze. Anna Breeze has never said she's not been with John Wedger. They present information. Could they present biased information? Yes, they could. That's why we've got to keep the conversation going because we don't know. I mean, if the first time when I saw you, Jace, you were talking about getting an erection on Wiggy's bus just because it was going over bumps. If I'd have judged you on that, mate.
Oh, but you should have seen it, man. It was magnificent.
Well, I don't need to see your erection to know you're magnificent.
Oh, honestly, it just but the back of it, right, the veins and everything were just like an A to Z of them.
Hang on, when you got off the bus, did you tell the driver that? That's right, mate. My veins.
No. I don't think he would have been very happy with me showing the erection and saying thank you for my erection. Listen, I want to. Someone's put Caligula's put Alex Belfield is suspect too. I think Alex Belfield's just getting out. He's just starting to learn how things are. He's just got out of mainstream media. Yeah. I give him some time. I watch his stuff. I watch his stuff. Anyway, listen, what I'm going to do, because like you said, we could keep the conversation going. So we've gone over the 2 hours, so I'm going to end it now. But what I want you to do is in clockwise this time, because I think I might get a better response from Paul first. So, Paul, your last message to everybody this evening.
Cheers for having me on. listening to me.
It's been a pleasure.
It's simple, that, mate.
What about you, Donegal Werewolf or Dinny?
Just ignore it and get on with your life. Just ignore all the bullshit. Carry on the way you are. Don't be a cunt.
Exactly. That's been our
That sentiment.
mantra from start. Go on, Webber.
I agree with that sentiment. Don't be a cunt. Grow some balls and actually say no to things that doubt. You know, put a little niggle down. I've got a daughter who lives in a cucumber castle on top of a cherry oak tree with unicorns. She doesn't know what's going on in this world, and I'm always going to be the somebody who's causing issues. But I come from a good place, not just with my daughter, for everybody. You know, your gas is free for a reason. Go and find out why it is free. Don't call people names. Go and find out. You'll find out that it's a debt-based economy and you have more control. At this point, you have more control than you ever thought. But when the big reset happens, don't come crying.
Brilliant. Thanks, Paul, Dinny, and Webby, for your company tonight. It's been great. I wanted to get back out. My hands are still not fucking fully functioning, but they're a lot better today. I don't know why, for some reason. So, someone says, when's the next show? I'm going to do an after dark show Friday night from 9:30. So we can talk about all sorts of shit there. So that will be on Friday. I'm hoping, right, upon hope, that this is now the beginning of the end of this hand thing, and I will be able to broadcast every Tuesday and start booking guests and start getting everything all done. So I just want to finish on this.
I was actually set for tomorrow night, you know. I thought I'll get home tomorrow, I'll be on the show, and then come out when I come in.
Sorry, mate. I just thought to myself, you know, I'll send a few people a link, and two of you out of the four.
Anytime, Jace, I'll be on. Anytime.
No problem. All right. Well, on this day, this auspicious day, when I got a millennial to fall for the old, smell the cheese.